Okay, AP Calculus AB quotient rule practice problems. These are the kind of problems you should be able to do in your head to be able to pass the AP Calculus AB exam at the end of the year. So let's just go through this a little bit. For now, I'm willing to tell you, remind you what the quotient rule is. And this is the quotient rule right here. So there's our quotient rule. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to apply that. The first thing I always do is I try to build a list so I don't screw things up. So remember, the top function is f prime of x, is f of x. The bottom one is g of x. And that bothers some people because they're like, well, isn't f of x this? We're pretending that this is blue and this is green maybe, or something. So, actually, whoa, I want that f prime of x. So, I'm going to just pretend that just for a second to make you feel better. So f of x is equal to x plus 1. F prime at x is equal to 1, isn't it? So I'm just looking at this piece right here. I'm taking the derivative of this piece right up here. So I'm calling this thing by itself. I'm calling this f of x. Its derivative, I'm calling that f prime at x. Now I'm going to look at that bottom piece, and I'm going to say this is my g of x part. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to say, okay, well, g of x is equal to the square root of x. So square root of x. F prime at x gets a little bit uglier, doesn't it? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite my g of x and say my g of x, the square root of x is the same as x to the 1/2 power. I'm going to go ahead and take its derivative and say that g prime at x, is equal to, well, 1/2 times this 1 out in front is 1/2. 1/2 minus 1 is x to the negative 1/2, isn't it? Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to build the machine. Hopefully that's okay with you. I'm going to go ahead and build that. And I'm going to use this rule and say, well, g of x is equal to x to the 1/2. I'm going to multiply it by the derivative. I'm going to multiply it by f prime at x, which is 1. This negative sign right here is this one. Now, f of x, which is x plus 1, times g prime at x. Remember that g prime at x was that crappy looking, this thing. Right? All over the square root of x squared. Because it says g of x squared. Well, g of x, we agreed, is this, so I'm going to square that. So here we go. So this is going to be our f prime at x. If it's your first day in calculus, so that's enough. You went far enough. But the rest of us, we have to keep pushing. So you have to do this out. I'm going to simplify this algebraically and say this is equal to x to the 1/2 minus. Have to distribute this whole piece right here, right? Distribute this whole piece right here to here and to there, right? So I have to do this. I'm going to leave this negative sign outside for right now, if you don't mind. And I'm going to multiply these things. You know what I'm going to do? If you don't mind, I'm going to put this thing down underneath there. So I'm going to put it as 1/2 square root x. Remember, we said that the square root of x is equal to x to the 1/2. And if that's true, then x to the negative 1/2, or x to the negative 1/2 is 1 over that. So that's where I'm getting this mess from. And that will give us x, that's this x, over 2 square roots of x plus 1 over 2 square roots of x. So far so good, I hope. All over square root of x squared is just x. This should be making some sense to you. If it's not, it's not your calculus. Your calculus is okay. It's your algebra, and we'll work on that. I'm going to distribute this negative sign, which makes that this is a negative 1 out here, isn't it? I want to get rid of these parentheses. Negative times this, it makes this a negative, doesn't it? And that makes this a negative also, and the brackets can come down. The parentheses are satisfied, if you will. Now what am I going to do? Hell, I think I'm going to... No, I'm not. I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to multiply just this piece right here by 2 square roots of x over 2 square roots of x. It's just 1, isn't it? I'm just multiplying by 1. And that will give us 2x over 2 square roots of x minus x over 2 square roots of x minus 1 over 2 square roots of x. Forgot how much I like this. Yay. Right? Is all equal to f prime at x. I can combine these pieces now, can't I? Holy man. I can combine these pieces to get 2x, this negative sign is this one, minus x, this negative sign is this one, minus 1, all over 2 square roots of x over x is equal to f prime at x. Stay with me, don't give up. Don't give up. 2x's minus x is just x, isn't it? So we get x minus 1 here. X minus 1. Everything is going to be okay. You'll see. Now look at this for a second. I'm going to look at this way. I'm going to look at this as a, right? Look at this complex fraction. Remember this? A over B over C over D. You need to know this rule is AB times D over C. What happens is when you have a complex fraction, you take the reciprocal of the bottom number. So the bottom number in this case is x over 1, isn't it? Let me color code this a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do here. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this top piece, x minus 1 over, shoot, dun, 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 dun. Stay with me, you're alright. X minus 1 over 2 square roots of x times 1 over x, right? I said I was going to bring this thing up as its reciprocal because that's the rule of complex fractions, which is right here, isn't it? And look, oh my god, we're almost done. We're home free. F prime at x is equal to x minus 1 over, this is x to the 1/2. So 2x to the 1/2 times x is 2x to the 3/2. And you can bring that up as square root of x cubed if you want to. You can factor out. And you know, a lot of people would just leave it like that. I'm going to leave it like this. So let's let that be your practice here. The problem that I'd like you to work on next is this one. You're going to be really pissed that we didn't do this one first because it's really easy. But work on this one because I want to talk about this tomorrow. So it's 3x minus 2 over 2x minus 3. Find f prime at x. I'm dying to hear from you. I appreciate all your support. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And just want to be honest with you, only a very small portion of people who take the AP calculus exam pass it each year. You can pass it. You have to practice this stuff. You just have to go through it and go through it and go through it. It's worth it because you're going to be one of the few that says, I passed it. And you're going to be in a very small little club, and you're welcome to it. So please subscribe.